Yo, what time? You already know what time it is, man. It's your boy. Yo, yo, yo. Sorry, Callie. Yo, you already know what time it is, man. It's your boy Booming back with another one, man. Doing another reaction video today. We got Cam Heyward. He did an interview with ESPN. And this segment is talking more so about Aaron Rodgers and fire Mike Tomlin chance and playoff hopes. So let's get right into it. You dig?
Monday night, you
Yes.
are officially going to have more starts than any defensive player in the history of the Pittsburgh Steelers. I mean, what comes to mind when you
Man, time flies, yo. Like that's absolutely crazy to hear. But as the old folks say, what I'm saying, time is fleeting. You know what I mean? So yeah, you gotta just cherish the times, man. Cherish the times, man, because time waits for no man.
wrap your brain around that?
Uh, I don't like to say I'm old, but when I hear stuff like that, I feel old. Um,
You unk, bruh. You unk status right now.
but I didn't know that till today, so it's kind of surprising. There's a lot of guys that I have a lot of respect for, and to even be mentioned among those names is special.
It's your 15th season in the NFL. How would you describe this season?
How would I describe this? It's been unpredictable. There's been some highs, there's been some lows, but really just part of the journey and trying to enjoy it.
How has the team been able to weather some of the roller coaster ride this year?
I think we have a lot of good leaders, Aaron, Jalen, me, TJ, that really just stress that you got to stay even keel. From game to game, you can't have these fluctuations from going up and down. And we understand we've had our fair share of losses, but we've also had our fair share of wins. And you can point back to certain moments in a game where we either came up with or didn't. Uh,
I can agree with that. I can agree with that. We would just like to see it translated onto the football field, but it starts with that mentality. You have to first have that mentality before it translates. So the more it resonates with more guys, I think we will begin to see it translate on the field. And big shout out to Cam for the Dreamville hoodie. It ain't my brand or nothing, but I just like the brand Dreamville. It truly is like something that you know got me here. It's just us, just dreaming, having dreams. You know what I mean? So I really rock with the Dreamville brand. You dig?
and stress that we can finish this out strong and still reach all of our goals.
How important was the Ravens win coming off of what happened against the Buffalo Bills? Not only, I know for you on the defensive side, you guys were really focused on turning things around.
Yeah.
There were the fire Tomlin chants. There was just so much going on. To come out and play the way you did against the Ravens, what did that mean?
I think it meant a lot because there was a lot on the line going into that game. AFC North, these two teams are fighting for top of the division, and the best way to just to cure everything is to win.
Those are facts. The best way to silence the noise is to win. You win, everything goes away. I'm pretty sure if these guys could have it, they would have already locked up the division. They would have already secured the playoff spot because there would be no noise. So yeah, I mean those are facts, man. You hear that saying a lot in the sports world. A lot of guys have had their heads, what I'm saying, on a platter, but then they start winning, and then all of a sudden everything's cool, everything's good. So yeah,
And a lot of our guys just stressed that. And we didn't care how we won. It was not pretty by any means. I think our defense needs to keep
oh, it was
playing a
pretty.
lot better to get to where we want to. But between DK and Aaron making some amazing passes and catches, our defense coming up with big plays, it just felt like whenever we needed that big play, it was there.
How'd you
I just want to say, and I agree with that, and that's what's going to make this week against the Dolphins that much harder because James Pierre made a huge play. TJ was huge in the run stops. You know what I mean, behind the line of scrimmage. We got guys that's banged up, that's hurt. The whole situation with TJ and himself. I've already made a video on that, but yeah, we really need this win, and we really need the defense as he said, to be even killed, because I people have to understand the defense. That's where the money is. So the defense has to play big. The defense has to play big. We can expect the offense to play big all we want, but the thing about the offense, I want the offense to start playing with a more defensive mind. Like, hey, if we can keep the opponents on the sideline, keep the opponent's offense on the sideline, then that gives our defense a chance to be rested. And we've seen when the defense is rested, they make even more explosive plays. When the offense is on the field, when the offense is scoring points, it's like it charges up the defense. So we need to see more of that.
Like the old man running in for a touchdown on that first rushing touchdown in 3 years.
I've been giving him a lot of hell for it. At the beginning of the year, he was trying to run, and I was like, I don't know. And he was like, once I get to the end zone, I'm doing the discount double check. And so he finally got there.
Son.
For his moment.
Sure enough. How much do you appreciate a guy, given the longevity that you've had, you know, seeing somebody like Aaron play at such a high level at this point in his career?
Well, one, I don't have to be the oldest guy in the room, which I love, but I can't say enough good things about how.
Hey man, you was part of the Icy Hot Bowl too, bro. Stop playing, Cam. Stop playing, Cam. You coined the phrase Icy Hot Bowl. You was 1,000% part of the Icy Hot Bowl as well. Like, real talk. Stop it.
Teammate he's been, and being bought into everything we've been about. You know, talking to guys, spending time extra outside of just here. He has just been all about trying to win and all about trying to include every guy on this team. You know, he's talked about things he would do at Green Bay, and we've tried to marry that in as well. But
Culture.
He has just been
Culture.
how can we make this group the best it can be.
And that includes calling people out, right? Like calling out his receivers.
1,000%.
After the Bills game, we need to put in more work. And does that resonate well with this group?
I think that resonates very well with our group. You know, we're mature and we can all handle criticism. And if a guy who's played as long as he has and done it at a high level can do that, who can't? And who can't receive that criticism? Our guys are very open to.
I've always said that. Part of the problem with since Ben, we had Kenny Pickett. You couldn't tell Kenny Pickett shit. Kenny Pickett was above learning. Kenny Pickett was above constructive criticism. I take you back to Mason Rudolph when we played the Seahawks in Seattle. Mason Rudolph won the game. After the game, they say, hey, Kenny Pickett, we saw you didn't dress today. Mason Rudolph has been doing exceptionally well for us. Is there anything you can learn from him? No. The reporter barely got the question out. No. There was nothing I learned. And you saw just yesterday, Raiders put up no points. Kenny Pickett has 65 yards. 65 yards. He played the entire game and had 65 yards. And you sitting here trying to tell me you too big, you're too high to learn from somebody? Bro, you have won nothing. You have done nothing. And to hear that Aaron Rodgers, he calls people out, but people can call him out too. It goes both ways. That's how you build a winning culture. That's how you build a culture of people striving to be better. Because no matter how much you know, there's still room to grow. There's still room to learn. Aaron Rodgers is showing the team that, you know what I'm saying, with how he conducts himself day to day. You know what I mean? Like, and it's great. GP, same thing. You couldn't criticize him, or he'd have a meltdown on the field. He wouldn't show up to practices, team meetings, whatever. He show up to the game 20 minutes before the game, go out there, half run the plays, and just whatever. It don't matter. You see Dallas on a 2-game losing streak. Right when GP was at, like, he was getting all the praise and all of this, all of that, and GP, even last night with the Cowboys, 33 yards, 3 catches, 33 yards. Hey man, this locker room, and this is why I say we have a chance, no matter how grim it looks, no matter how bad it looks. We have a chance because we have guys that's willing to be called out and willing to do better. I'm not looking from my eye that, hey, you calling me out, you don't like me. No, you're calling me out because you know I can do better. Just like my coach in high school used to say, hey, the only reason why I'm on you is because I know you can do better. If I didn't believe in you, I wouldn't say nothing to you. So yeah, I love this locker room. I love that about this locker room because if there's something constructive that you can say to help someone along the way, and they not take it personal, man, the whole team is just gonna get better. If you got that in every room, that can spread, and if you have that in every unit, every room, hey man, the sky's the limit.
Being challenged, I think that shows the mark of a good team that we can take criticism and apply to the next game.
Yep.
I remember back in the summer, you who are a lifelong Steeler, were like, all
Here
right,
we go.
Aaron, in so many words, do you want to be a Steeler or do you not? Like, let's decide this already.
Hey, yo, I really, this is my blind reaction to this, and I'm really glad she asked this question. I'm really looking forward to hearing his answer. Real talk.
So there was him from afar. Now he's been your teammate for the better part of a season. How has your relationship with him grown?
Well, just addressing that situation, the way we got into it.
Address it, Cam. Address it.
How are you going to recruit Aaron? And my simple thing was, either you want to be a Steeler or you don't. I have nothing else to say. Like, I cannot beg somebody to be a Pittsburgh Steeler. You either want to be a Steeler or you don't. And he jumped on that train, and he's been a...
It's crazy because, like, when I heard that quote from him, it was almost as if he was saying that can go either way, right? I hear what he's saying right now. He's saying, hey, I can't convince anybody to come play for the Pittsburgh Steelers. But the way it came off was either you want to be here or you don't want to be here. As if they've had, it almost sounded as if they had communication. And he was sending a direct message to Aaron Rodgers that, hey, bro, either you want to be here or not. We ain't begging you. But to hear it from the other end of the spectrum, hey, I can't convince anybody. They either want to be here or not. And I kind of get that.
About it. When he came into our facility and he just spoke to the guys and said, guys, I'm not looking to be a distraction. I want to be a part of this team. I'm sorry if it was. I've had things outside the building I had to take care of. And as a player, you respect that. Yeah. Because we all have a million things going on.
Shit, as a person, you respect that. As a man, you respect that. As a human being, you respect that. Real talk.
And so we've just really gotten to know each other over this time. We poke and rib at each other. We're always getting in each other's face about God knows what. But no, I love having him as a teammate. I love the knowledge he brings to this game. That's one thing that can sometimes be forgotten in our game. And our game is built on history. Our game is built on guys that have done this game for a long time, that had a lot of success, and then passed it on to the next generation.
Was there a point where you told him there was a team outing to go to a movie or something like that?
So I get a lot of these movie premieres, and I invite a lot of people. No one from, like, the team, the players came. But there was a lot of other people. I had my neighbors. I had everybody there besides just teammates. And so he felt uncomfortable, and I was like, dude, I invite everybody. It's not like he was sitting next to my son, and it was just me, him, and my son. Like, it was not that situation. But he's a big movie guy. His seat's right in front of mine. He's always watching the oldest movie possible. He's watching, like, the first Star Wars. And I'm like, dude, there's a lot of other ones you can see besides that one.
Hey, man, but you got to start at the beginning, man. You got to start at the beginning. I respect that. We could watch the other ones, too. But you got to pay homage to the originals. You feel me?
Progressed on to many other iterations of Star Wars.
He's going to start watching Indiana Jones soon or something.
Well, I mean, he has to act old in some parts of his life, right?
So.
Like, you gotta be there for that. You have played your entire career for Mike Tomlin. To hear those Fire Tomlin chants, what was that like for you?
I took it as it was a reflection on us as players, because coach can only do so much. He prepares us for.
I appreciate that response. I'm gonna let him cook. I'm gonna let him finish. Matter of fact, I'm gonna get that prepped up for him to finish. But
for the games, but we have
that. I appreciate the beginning of that response. As many of you have heard already, Jalen Ramsey was asked the same question, and Jalen Ramsey said, you know what I mean, I thought it was comical. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, when I originally heard that response, I'm like, oh man, you don't take the fans seriously. Like even fans had mixed reactions to the chants and stuff like that, right? Martin Luther King Jr. said riots are a voice of the unheard, right? So it's one of the things to where it's like, yo, if you got fans in the stadium booing and chanting fire people, you know what I'm saying? They feel like, yo, you don't take us seriously as a fan base. You know what I mean? You making your millions, you making your money. We come here every Sunday and support you. And you us letting you know how we feel is comical to you? Like that's pretty bad if you ask me. You know what I mean? Like I know they had to have been prepped for that question and being prepped for that question and that's still your response. Yeah, I don't know about that one, man. I didn't appreciate Ramsey's take, um, because quite frankly, if we're being real about it, aside from the Rams, he's played on trash teams. Even the Jaguars team that he was on, they was good for like a year, maybe two. Outside of that, he's been in the league 10 years. All right, what happened the other 7 years? You've been on trash teams. You played for bottom tier franchises. The Steelers are the best franchise you ever played for. So yeah, like I stand on that. Like you haven't played for anyone that had any like real expectations. So yeah, you probably thought it was a joke. You know what I'm saying? You got your stats, you got your numbers, you got your contract. Everything was like a me thing, me. But you come to an organization where we have expectations for this franchise. We're not saying you got to make the Super Bowl every year. Asking for a playoff win? Nah, bro. It ain't that hard to get a playoff win in 10 years when you have had um, great rosters. You've had great rosters. Like, and I feel as though, like, that's a slap in the face to fans to have that kind of response when we are frustrated. When it's required of us to buy shit, even paying for parking is $100 plus. We're not even talking about just the tickets. We're not talking about just the concessions. Or, you know what I'm saying? We're talking about parking, everything. Like it is very expensive to go to games in Pittsburgh or any major professional football team. It's expensive. And there's nothing comical about people taking their hard-earned money and putting it into a team, into players that thinks it's comical when they're frustrated. I think that's trash, man. Like that's the one thing I've heard from Ramsey I don't agree with. Everything else about Ramsey, man, since he's been here, bro, I've loved Ramsey's been my favorite pickup from the offseason. Um, but I just don't like that response from him. And maybe he didn't mean it that way, but I don't agree with that. If we think that was comical, go out here and lose to the Dolphins and see how comical it's gonna be. Cause they gonna really let you know, champ. They gonna really let you know how they feel, and it could get ugly. It can get ugly if they go out here and they lose to the Dolphins. It can get ugly.
And Chance, what was that like for you?
You know, I took it as it was a reflection on us as players because coach can only do so much. He prepares us for the games, but we have to execute. I'm not someone that runs away from criticism of another. I want to stand in between that, and I think all of our players should. But those fire Tomlin trick, you hear that and you're just like, no, that can't be real. Like he's a hell of a coach. He does everything right. Like what he does for this organization goes beyond just the season, and
So it feels like you're trying to fall back on what you've done versus what you're doing, right? Yeah, we know Mike Tomlin has had no losing seasons. He's a Super Bowl winning champ, coach, and all that other good stuff. But you haven't won a playoff game in almost a decade. That's not acceptable. If you go out here at your job and you don't, if you come in every day and you just do the bare minimum, at some point they might say, okay, we've had enough. We're going in a different direction. And there will be things to lead up to that. Reprimands or whatever will lead up to that. But, like we can't sit here and say, oh yeah, based on everything that he's done, because let's be honest here. You got guys that's 20 years old, 21 years old, that haven't seen the Steelers win a playoff game since they were 10. Let that sink in. Steelers haven't done anything. I mean, honestly, let's be real. George Pickens was the guy on the team that most of the younger generation wanted to have a jersey for because he was just wilding. Everybody loved him. You know, he was like the AI on the roster. Had the talent. You know what I mean? He just was frustrated at times. But I'm just saying that's what I noticed. A lot of the older crowd you saw would have like people still rocking Ben jerseys to game. People are still rocking Ben jerseys to game. You got the Rodgers now. You know what I'm saying? I got a Rodgers jersey. I rock that too. But T.J. Watt, you know what I mean? Like, but GP was that guy that the younger crowd had jerseys on and stuff like that. And you know what I mean? So it's just like it's been a long time. It's been a long time, and you know it'll be nice for us to turn that page and get something done this season. But we can't fall back on what you've done. Shoot, 16 years ago, 17 years ago, we can't fall back on something you did 17 years ago. That's just we can't have that. We can't accept that. We just can't accept that as a fan base. We will not accept that as a fan base.
If anything, us as players have to answer that, and we got to keep answering it from here on out.
What is it then that people aren't understanding? Is his voice still resonating in this locker room as much as it ever has?
100%. His voice rings throughout everybody in this locker room, and there's a level of accountability in bringing up how we need to win these games. And if you can't gel with that, then you're in the wrong business. I've heard of horror stories across this league. There are plenty of players and teams desperate for that type of accountability. And if I can have that from...
But it sounds like I hear what Cam is saying right here, but it's almost as if, okay, you're saying the players hold each other accountable. Mike Tomlin's voice hasn't grown stale in the locker room. So, but there's a disconnect somewhere. Somebody's not being accountable somewhere. There's no excuse for how the team gave up against the Buffalo Bills. So either it's a Tomlin thing or it's a player thing. It could be both. You know what I mean? Like they win a game, all right, we good now, and then they let off the pedal, and boom, the Buffalo Bills situation happened, and now everybody's accountable again, and everybody comes out and plays tremendously well. Like we need accountability week in, week out, week in, week out, not just when things get bad. We need accountability when things get good. You did this well, but where can you improve upon? So I disagree with that. At somewhere along the line, Mike Tomlin's message isn't hitting as well as it used to. Again, it's not translating to the field, and you got people that really believe that the players like Tomlin because Tomlin let the players do whatever they want to do. And we could take that all the way back to AB and Le'Veon. When they left, a lot came out about how they were treated as superstars. They were not held accountable. They did whatever they wanted to do. That's on record. That's on wax. So I disagree with that.
For the rest of my career, I think I've been with the best coach possible.
There are people who point to...
I disagree with that too.
Since 2016, and they say, you know what?
I missed what she asked him, but I disagree with that too.
Plenty of players and teams desperate for that type of accountability. And if I can have that for the rest of my career, I think I've been with the best coach possible.
There are people who point to no playoff wins since 2016, and they say, you know what, it's time for a change. If that doesn't change, what would you say to those folks?
I'm hoping to change that this year. And I think we have a team that can change that. You know, you look at the AFC, it's wide open right now. You know.
So avoid the question. The question was pretty clear. You haven't won a playoff game since 2016. People believe change needs to happen. If you lose this year, do you think change needs to happen? Well, I'm hoping to change that this year. He just completely avoided that question.
Everybody's got their blemishes, but it's who can get hot and who can get hot now. And so I'm looking for my group to get very hot and answer a lot of these questions. The playoffs are around the corner, but the playoffs started a long time ago for us.
How does Coach T handle?
Change needs to happen. Change 1,000% needs to happen. You haven't won a playoff game since 2016. We've had T.J. Watt, Cam. They getting paid a lot of money, and we haven't won a playoff game since 2016. Let that sink in. That's 9 years. That is 9 years. 9 years to not have a playoff win. And I'm hoping to change that this year. That's not answering the question, and that's part. This is why a lot of people think there needs to be a change, because guys are committed to Tomlin in some ways. Like that's completely being just aligned and committed to your coach, and not being objective in the response and looking at the situation. If you had a business, Cam, or any player, and in 9 years you took a loss 9 years straight, you didn't make a profit in 9 years, what would you say? Oh, I need to make a change. Exactly. The same thing needs to happen here. 9 years, no playoff wins, a change needs to happen. Sam Cook, ASAP.
All the outside noise.
He doesn't even entertain it. He's very single-minded and very focused because he's just trying to pour into the group.
That steadiness, that's like a superpower, isn't it?
It is. That steadiness is, I don't know how he does it from, so many different angles. He's able to just stay on the course and, provide.
I don't have a problem with that, but to some degree, you need to hear the outside noise. You need to be in tune with the fan base. You need to have a pulse for what the fans are feeling. I mean, in some, it's like, man, I don't care what them people think. I mean, but you're in a entertainment space where you should care what people think to a certain degree. If people were calling you out, I'm not saying like, if people were calling you like all kind of crazy names and stuff, like, yeah, you tune that out. But people saying, hey man, why do we make no second half adjustments? Why are we a terrible second half team? Why have we not had a playoff win in 9 years? Why? You should hear that. You should hear that. That's what we want to know as fans, as a fan base. But I tune that out. Yeah, you can't tune that out. If people calling you out by name, like crazy names, your family, your kids, whatever, it's wild stuff out there. You hear about people getting death threats, like all that stuff. Yeah, I get that. Tune that out. But we're not gonna tune out the facts. That's the opposite of what you're saying. He is. He holds people accountable. That's not accountability. That's being oblivious to the facts. That's being ignorant to the situations at hand.
Leadership, he's able to provide knowledge and info of what you're going into, what you're stepping into that situation, that week. And I think it provides a lot of clarity for our guys.
We see the two of you guys walk off the field after pregame warm-ups together. Why do you do that? And I don't know, what do you guys talk about?
Well, one, we're trying to figure out where we're kicking the ball. And if we're going to defer or we're going to receive. And then it's just become somewhat of our ritual. He says, let's make sure we walk off this field slow after the game.
After wins?
Yes, after wins. But it's...
Yeah, you walk off fast after the losses, though. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, walk off slow with the wins. You know what I'm saying? Because you want people to eat their words, and you know what I'm saying? I heard somebody, oh yeah, what you got to say now? No, I got the same thing. Change needs to happen. Same thing. You feel me? Like, but it goes back to what I just said a second ago. If you walking off fast after losses because you don't want to hear what fans got to say, you are checked out of the fan base. You are totally not even acknowledging the frustration that fans have.
It's just reinforcing that, we'll get to do this again if we win. So
you let Aaron go walk off the field with you now too.
It's just usually Aaron's talking to a whole lot of people. They love to hear him talk, so we're waiting around most of the time.
So as part of that, when you're walking off together after wins, do you take a minute to savor what you've done?
Yes.
To think about it? Right?
You should.
I think
you should
savor the chaos that erupts in sometimes these chaotic environments. going to Baltimore or going across the country, there's passionate fans everywhere. And if you can, point out to, Steeler fans that have traveled a long way, you're thankful for that. Or the fans that hated you before the game, they're a little bit more distraught now. So we love to include that in our walks.
How did this get started with you and Coach T walking off the field together?
Oh, I think when I started becoming the captain that talks the most, the guy who's got to say heads or tails or, defer or anything, I think we just started communicating a lot more on that because it used to be Ben. So I wasn't going to mess with that. So it falls on me. TJ doesn't want to talk. Aaron doesn't want to talk. So it's kind of just falling on me for that.
Can you believe the Steelers?
Man, you got a whole podcast, bro. You like to talk, man. It is what it is.
Have won 22 consecutive Monday Night Football games at home.
I'm glad I'm not part of all of those. That would have been crazy. I
mean, that's an insane streak, and I mean, obviously, Mike Tomlin's 11-0.
Yeah,
right.
We've got some luck on our side. I think we're looking to change our night game history this year.
Oh yeah, so that's a weird stat. So you have not won a game that's kicked off at 4:25 or later.
Hey man, they gotta. Unks like to be in bed, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, when you get older, man, old people don't like being out late at night, bro. That's just what it is. You know what I'm saying? Like, my grandma, she would be in the bed like 8:45, bro. Like, old people don't like being out late. They don't like being out late, man. Let them boys go to sleep. We giving them all them primetime games for, man.
This season, what's going on there?
I gotta change the clocks or something.
Is it the body clock? You guys need naps at this? What's happening?
Yes.
Like 0-3 and prime.
Yes, absolutely.
We gotta change that. We've had some opportunities to change that, but we've fallen flat in some instances, especially in the second half. But no, we gotta get this one on Monday night.
You're 11-time.
Got to.
Captain now running. This has been, I'd say, in some respects, a disappointing year for the defense. Would you characterize it as such?
A tough year.
A tough year.
It's been disappointing, bro.
And
okay.
I think
it's been disappointing, bro.
There's still a lot we can change about it. Tough doesn't have an ending. We just got some work to do.
Can you put your finger on it?
Our run game has not been up to par. If I could crack the code, that's where it starts. You start stopping the run, and then as you do that, you make a team one-dimensional. And then you can pin your ears back and really go after the pass. And so,
that's true.
You can make a big,
very true.
Hoopla about our turnovers and other things we've done, but if we're trying to accomplish what we want to accomplish and go into the playoffs, we have some big running game opponents ahead of us.
Yeah.
And what we're looking at is getting after that and qualifying for the playoffs.
I know. I just think when you say that, I just think of the Lions, right? That like a two-headed monster.
Yeah.
Right.
Lions this week, especially in Miami, the way they've turned it around. Baltimore, Cleveland. These teams thrive off the run. And if we're gonna have the success we talk about, what better way to start than with that?
Facts.
So how did you turn it around after the Bills game when the Bills ran all over this defense? And you're able to go in the next week, and at key points of the game, really hold them to 3 points rather than touchdowns. What change or what adjustments did you guys make?
Well, I think in the Bills game, there's a couple of situations where we did not handle well. Coming out of half, offense turns over the ball, and we didn't handle it as a defense of going back on the field, handling that sudden change. And one, our offense didn't turn over the ball in the Baltimore game, but two, we felt like any situation where they do get in the red zone, it's got to be 3 or less. And I thought we handled it as the game just kept progressing. Got some key 4-down stops. It's a collective of different things we got to do, but red zones, sudden change, 4th down stops, and then also stopping the run. You do that, that's going to give yourself a really good chance to win the game.
Agreed.
How are you approaching then this stretch run of the season? You're 7-6. You are right now in first place in the division, and you really have everything ahead of you. So what's the
Hey man, we in the driver's seat, man. We gotta finish the season strong. Like what Cam was saying, like get hot now. I would love to see us get hot now. I would love to see us run the table. I would love to see us go into the playoffs hot. Because the AFC is wide open. It is wide open. The team that everybody thought was a juggernaut, the Colts, a couple weeks ago, They falling flat. Patriots this, Patriots with that. They just took an L yesterday against Buffalo. So the AFC is not. The Chiefs got knocked out the playoffs yesterday. So I mean, the AFC is wide open. There is not one team that people can point to and say, "Hey, they're going to run away with the conference." So why not that? Why shouldn't that team be Pittsburgh? Why shouldn't that team be Pittsburgh? Is what I want to know. It's there for the taking. It's there for the taking. It's not. It didn't go the way we wanted it to go. So far this season, it didn't go the way we wanted it to go. But guess what, man? We have every opportunity right here, right now, to turn things around.
Mentality. What's the swing thought here down the stretch?
I got everything in front of me.
You are right now in first place in the division, and you really have everything ahead of you. So what's the mentality? What's the swing thought here down the stretch?
I got everything in front of us, and we have a chance to attack it. We have a chance to answer everything. We don't have to look around and say, "Oh man, I hope you guys get us into the playoffs." No, it's all in front of us. And
right now, we have that moment. But going back to Jalen Ramsey, it's comical. We're tired of every year hoping we hope this team loses. We gotta wish for this tiebreaker. We need this scenario to happen, and all this. We have everything before us right here, right now. Lose this game, and it will get comical. If you thought that was comical against the Bills, lose this game, it will get comical.
What better way than these tune-up games? And they're not even tune-up games. These are playoff games every week, and I love it. Like, I don't have to look around. I don't have to wait for somebody else to make a play. I can make a play. My team can make a play, and I like that level of accountability from our group.
You're not going to have your buddy T.J. Watt. We know that on Monday he had surgery this week to repair a partially collapsed lung. I know you guys are very close, and you have been since he arrived here. He talks about that all the time. What was this week like?
A little bit surprising. You don't know what's going to happen with the teammate, but just talking to him before, after the game, we're talking about how we got to address this week, and hearing the shocking news that he's got to deal with the surgery, and you're more concerned with just the health of your friend, and football can wait. But at the same time, I got to make sure I hold down the fort for him and make sure when he gets back, he gets a little bit more rest, and we're ready to go by the time playoffs.
Yeah, like 1,000%. Like, I think we got to win this game for TJ. We got to win this game for TJ. You know what I mean? We can't let our player go down and then we just fall apart. We have to find a way to rally and win this game for TJ. And then TJ come back rested, and I think TJ will miss the rest of the season, but I think if TJ gets this rest towards the end of the season, playoffs, he's going to come in an animal. He's going to come in like a wrecking ball and play the best he's played all season, because he would have gotten some unexpected rest towards the end of this regular season. So, or at least that's hopeful thinking, wishful thinking as a fan. Well, at least that's wishful thinking. At least that's wishful thinking. That's hopeful thinking as a fan. Do you need to step out? Cracking Knuckles pops up on the microphone too. Do you need to step out?
You were able to talk to him this week?
I have been.
He's in good spirits, or?
He's a little bummed he can't play, but health comes first. And it should be 52 other guys stepping up in this moment for him.
Agreed.
He'd be kicking himself if he
Agreed.
could play. But, it's up to us to hold down the fort.
How much do you miss TJ when he's not able to be out there on the field?
Well, there's nothing TJ hasn't seen in this league. Every block, he's a leader on the field. His splash play, awareness, but that gives an opportunity for some other guys to step up too. Whether it's Nick Herbig, Alex Highsmith, Jack Sawyer. We've been talking about this depth that we could have guys to step in these moments.
Deepest edge rushing room in the league. And the people that wanted Alex Highsmith traded earlier in the season need to be called to the front of the carpet, because that would have been dumb. People would give everything to have the edge rushing room that we have. We have 4 legit edge rushers. Jack Sawyer, granted, he's a rookie, but even he's made great plays. He's played well. You know what I'm saying? He didn't come in with, he don't have no NFL experience, but he won a natty, and he was an anchor on that defense that he won a natty on. He made crazy TJ Watt-esque plays on that defense. You know what I'm saying? Winning the natty. So we have a deep edge rushing room. Why would you give that up? For what?
We're going to ask those guys to step up. We're not going to ask them to be TJ Watt. That's one thing we're not going to do. But we're going to ask them to just play sound football. And, if we do that, we can win this game.
I mean, this team has allocated more of its resources on the salary cap to defense than any other team in the NFL. This is the hallmark of the Steelers.
Probably the history of the NFL.
Franchise is defense.
Yeah.
How much of that responsibility do you feel every time you put this uniform on?
It's not that it's the most paid defense. I think it's you put on that black and yellow jersey and you understand that you're representing the Pittsburgh Steelers. You're representing the Joe Greens, the Joey Porters, the Mel Blunts. There's countless amount of names, Troy Polamalu's, and they're not ghosts, they're legends. And the fact that you get to wear the Pittsburgh Steelers jersey, there's a level of football that needs to be played. And if you're not playing up to that level, you shouldn't be on that field.
You are among the most decorated in terms of postseason recognition for what you've done of defensive players, anyone in the league since 2017. How much longer do you want to play? What do you see as your future here in Pittsburgh?
My future is trying to win a Super Bowl before I hang it up. I really just want to take advantage of these opportunities I'm given, because it's not guaranteed. I want to be a dad and want to be a good husband. But I'm having fun playing this game as long as I can, and as I sacrifice from them, I'm able to play a game I love.
When you think about the fact that this team hasn't won back-to-back games since week 6, how critical is it in facing?
But we talking about accountability. This is what I'm saying. It's not translating to the field. You can say, "Oh, I'm holding people accountable." Okay, where do we see people are being held accountable at? Because you haven't won back-to-back since week 6. That needs to change now. It needs to change now. Win tonight against the Dolphins. Go on the road against the Lions. Win there. Beat the Browns. Whatever happens against the Ravens, because it won't matter at that point. We hold the tiebreakers. We got the better record in the division. That needs to end now. If we can win the next 3, Baltimore will be a toss-up. If we win the next 3, none of that matters. We can rest the starters the last week of the season. When's the last time we can say we rested starters the last week of the season? It hasn't been that way for over a decade. Has not been that way for over a decade. That's a problem. That's a real problem.
The Dolphins, that you establish some consistency, that you really build upon what you did against the Ravens.
Coach LeBeau used to always talk about you got to stack like hotcakes. And so I'm in dear need of some hotcakes right now. We got to have some consistent performances. And like I keep saying, everything's in front of us. And to do that, and to go where you want to, you got to win, back-to-back games and back-to-back-to-back games.
So many people talk about the Steelers. There's like this constant dialogue around this team. They're one of the most talked about teams in the country. Hotly debated. So much is said about the Steelers on so many different levels. As a player, how do you really put that to the side and focus on the task at hand?
Hold yourself to a higher standard. You know, it's not what everybody else is saying. It's what your coaches are asking you, what you're asking yourself. That's also that should matter. What your teammates are asking you. It's a buy-in. It's a trust that you're going to do your job and you're going to do it at a high level. And that's all that matters. I could care less about what everybody says about me, as long as I'm respected by my teammates and by my coaches.
And so what's the vibe
That's fair.
internally in this locker room?
It's high. You know, we understand guys got to step up, but we're not running away from that. I think it's an accountability where we got to make plays. We got to go out there and play our best ball in the month of December and into January.
You've been to 7 Pro Bowls since 2017. That's tied for the most of any player in the NFL. What keeps you going?
That sticky Lombardi I don't have. All the other accolades are, you know, great, but like there's no such thing as there's no such other feeling you get than winning a Super Bowl.
So all the TJ Watt critics out there, yeah, he doesn't have the stats that Myles Garrett has right now, but what is Myles Garrett playing for? Yesterday it came out his starting quarterback had the wrong plays on his wristband. Like, what is Myles Garrett playing for? Really? He's playing for individual accomplishments. He's not playing for team stats. TJ Watt right now is playing for team stats. Cam Heyward right now is playing for team stats. Jalen Ramsey, JPJ, everybody's playing for team stats right now. When you start getting to the point where you care more about having a sack record than your playoff record, you're a lost cause. So I feel what he's saying right here. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're playing, the individual stuff is cool, but we want that the team accomplishments more. Yeah, I rock with that. I agree with that 1,000%.
And you know, I've watched friends around the league do that, and every year you're just jealous, and you're asking yourself, what am I doing wrong? And you know, I gotta answer one of these questions one of these years with, you know, trophy.
Got a nice trip.
It might not be anything that you're doing wrong at all. It could be wrong schemes, bad schemes. It could be bad coaching. It could be a number of things. You know what I mean? So, yeah, I don't think it's anything the players are doing wrong per se. I've gone on record to say I would love to see this team under a more aggressive, offensively minded coaching staff. That's what I would like. Because I guarantee you the record right now will be better than 7-6 or 8-6. It would be, because we've seen when the defense gets rest, when the offense goes out and puts up points, and the defense gets an adequate amount of rest during the game. You know what I'm saying? The time of possession, if we had a better time of possession, yeah, this defense would look crazy. This defense would look amazing. But they haven't been able to showcase that because they're always on the field.
Trophy case upstairs here with a few. They could
Yes.
they could make some room.
Yes, there's 6 of them up there, and you know, when we get to have all of our former players come back and they talk about their times, you feel jealous. You feel like you're not part of the.
I've said that before. He just said when the players come back and they talk about what they've done, they play like a different team. They play, you need to have them guys come back more and talk because they play more aggressive. They play as if, yo, we got something to prove every time. And they got Big Ben there, Big Ben, Marquise Pouncey, and Big Ben, Marquise Pouncey, and Joey Porter there. And for the Steelers Hall of Honor, honoring them. Hey, yo. Yeah. I think the Steelers get this win because, to his point, I've seen it. I've even mentioned it. They play better when the greats come back. When they start honoring the greats, and they play so much better. It's insane. It's insane. It'll make you question why they don't do it every home game. They have somebody there to fire these dudes up. You saw what happened yesterday. Ed Reed called out the team. Ed Reed called out not our team, but the Ravens. Ed Reed called out the Ravens. The Ravens went to Cincinnati and put BTA, and Bengals didn't score a single point. Come on now. We need that same kind of game tonight. We need that same kind of reaction tonight. That same kind of dominance. We need that. We absolutely 1,000% need that.
A real party. You're just outside waiting in line, and so I've always been very like keen on that. When I was a younger guy, I just wanted to spend so much time around like the Troys and the James Ferries and Casey Hamptons. They had so much knowledge, and just being a fly on the wall, I felt like I was just
Big snack,
like the greatest of all time.
And now, do you feel like you're one of those guys too? Like
no.
you don't.
No,
You're not
feel
the
like
elder statesman imparting wisdom on
I'm imparting
the youngsters.
wisdom, but I'm trying to climb this journey with them, hand in hand, and arm in arm. We're all just trying to work together.
So, Secret Santa, you've given puppies away
I've
the
given
last couple of
puppies
years.
away, yes.
How does that go over?
It goes over. It goes over great. I make sure there's one guy that at least wants the dog. We've had some really cool gifts given in the Secret Santa, and this year should be pretty cool too.
Okay, I know we're not giving anything.
Yeah, I
away.
can't give it away now, but
right.
It's not a dog this year. I promise, guys. It's not
a dog. Okay.
Yeah, that was dope. I disagreed with a couple points there, but largely overall, I do agree with Cam. We have the keys to the vehicle. We're in the driver's seat. And if they could just respond to the constructive criticism, and hold each other accountable, man, the sky's the limit for this team. It just is. It's written all over it. So I hope they can come out tonight, beat the Dolphins. I don't care how ugly it is, just beat the Dolphins. I mean, I guess the good thing is, we beat the Ravens last week. So if we were to lose today, we're still in first place because we hold the tiebreaker. But you don't even want it to get to that point. You don't even want it to get to that point. You don't want to get to that point, man. It's all about momentum. You don't want to give them the momentum. We know they are right there. We do not want to give them momentum to take the division. A second year in a row. We've been in first place majority of the year. We've been in first place the majority of the year. A second year in a row. You don't want it to end the same way it ended last year. Because if it does, guess what? Change needs to happen. So, hey, man, it's your boy Boomin'. I'm going to catch you on the next reaction. Let's get this dub. Here we go, Steelers. And I'll see you after the game. Peace.